This dresser is a new one that we got, and we didn't have a lot to do on it, just some little surface dings that I have patched. And I cleaned it really good, sanded it, wiped it all down. I scrubbed the drawers inside and out, and I've taped the sides of the drawers here too for painting, so it leaves a straight line. So I will get this one painted, and this one I'm planning on painting black, and I'm planning on using the wood, like antiquing wood color wax on it, the Waverly. And I know it's going to take a couple of coats. That's my little puppy dog. Bella. And this is Bear's paint in black, and this is a homemade chalk paint with the calcium carbonate, and it's pretty good. I've used it quite a bit. It works out good. You want to mix your calcium carbonate in the warm water first to make a paste, and I usually use about probably in a quart of paint, about 4 tablespoons of calcium carbonate and maybe 2 tablespoons of real warm water, or maybe more, just so that it's a thick paste. And then I stir it into the paint really good. And it has really good adhesion and wear. I sanded this piece really good because it looked like someone had painted it with a glossier paint. It's a really pretty dresser, vintage dresser, all wood. Okay, I finished painting this dresser. I've got 2 coats of the black on it, and chalk paint, and I'm going to use this stencil, or this stamp I redesigned, called Handwritten Note, and I'm going to kind of follow this example here they give. I really like that. And I'm going to do it in a gray, and what I decided to do is I just took a box, and when I was painting this, I painted the top of the black, same black, so I could experiment with the gray color I'm using, because I'm just using acrylic paint. That's right here. It's just folk art, and this color is called steel gray, but it could be any color. I didn't want it to be silver, so, but you could use any color you want. And this way I can kind of tell what it's going to look like on the dresser, so that's what I did. And I also made some tape marks so that when I go to stamp, it's lining up my stamps correctly. So I taped off the edges of the drawers and the center. Ready? Okay. I've got my center marks on the tape here, and I tape these edges because there are raised edges here and borders that I don't want to get the stamp on. So I just kind of loosely taped them off so that they're protected, and I've got a line in the center of my stamp so I can kind of, it's not exact, but I can line it up and get it pretty close. And I'm just pressing down, and I missed the paint that I'm using lightly with my mister bottle with water so that the roller and the paint stay damp, and I cover it with a paper plate. And of course you can always take black paint and touch it up if you've messed up somewhere. I think there should be enough paint on this to stamp it a couple times. That's what I tested with on my box, and it seemed to work good. I also did grid lines on my stamp going this way, just because that way when I go to do a drawer, I don't have to, if I don't want to, ink the whole stamp if I'm doing a small area. Here. You can use these little rollers, little foam rollers, also with stencils if you want, instead of a stencil brush. But I would recommend it, test it. And then I just cover this with a paper plate to keep it moist. And then now I'm ready to stamp my other drawer, and I'm you can stamp these randomly. You really don't want to stamp them so that every drawer looks the same. I see right here I got a little smudge. I can just paint right over that so you won't even know that's there. And I'm just trying to push it down near these edges here, but it's not going to be the same as if the edge wasn't there, but that's okay, because I want it to kind of have a worn look. So there. The nice thing about these stamps is that they're clear, so you can kind of see what where you're going with your stamp, which makes it nice. Of course, it's always easier to stamp flat areas, but you can still stamp curved areas. It's just not quite as easy, but you can do it. Okay, I'm stamping the sides, and I'm going to do the top also. And I'm going to just re-stamp the stamp a couple times anyway, because I really want it to look worn. When you're pressing these stamps, you can also, for some looks that looks neat, is you can press it in places, but then let it not take in others for a more worn look. And you can actually take this part off if you want, if you're worried about getting it not exactly perfect, but I don't think it's got to be perfect. Okay, I taped this one off so that I could do this back part first and then come back and stamp this. Now, if you wanted your stamp to come down over in this area, you would just need to lay a piece of paper there. Otherwise, do a touch-up where it went over. I can't really see this very well, so is this? Am I getting up close enough? I think so. Now the one thing good about this is if you do make a mistake or a mistake that really bothers you, you can always paint over that section and let it dry and restamp it. So, okay. I've used this General Finishes High Performance Flat, which is a water-based sealer, polyurethane, and I put 2 coats with this on this piece, and then I've also lightly scuff sanded it all over, and then taking 180 sanding pad and just gone around all the edges on everything and vacuumed it and wiped it off. And I'm about to get ready to do this Waverly. It's the antiquing wax all over it. Okay, I'm just putting this Waverly antiquing wax on a dark cloth, and I am just wiping this all in. It's already been sealed and distressed, but this just kind of adds a softness, plus any of the raw edges of the wood that have been exposed from distressing it. It actually seals it. And it gives the black just a really nice soft color. And then you can take a soft dark cloth and just buff off any excess. Okay, I just have a dry, clean, dark cloth. I'm really just kind of buffing it lightly. I'm just wiping the excess off. Okay. And I'll do this on all the drawers in the dresser. You probably see a difference between this drawer now and this drawer because this dark antiquing wax is going to fill in where I distressed it and it scratched the sealer. It's this antiquing wax is kind of getting in there and darkening it slightly, which is exactly what I want it to do. And you can see that it's coloring the exposed wood too, that from distressing it. I am using this Dixie Belle's Mama's Butter and Orange Grove, and I use a paintbrush to do it. And what I do is I'm going to put it all along the drawer runner here, and not only does it make the dresser smell good, but it's going to make the drawers slide good. And then I'll put some on the drawer. This gives the wood a little bit of nutrients that it needs. And I also have labeled the drawers in the back, very back of them, with a number that corresponds to one being the first one down to the last one, so that way if people, when they purchase it, a lot of people will take the drawers out to make it lighter, carry it home, and they'll know which drawer goes in which place. Because sometimes they look the same, like they're the same size, but when you actually try to put them in, they don't fit. Okay, so now I also use this on the inside. And I'm going to be lining these because with just wallpaper or contact paper, because there's a couple of drawers that have stains on them that I could not get out. So that's what I usually do when a drawer has got messed up. But this a lot of times will eliminate all the little fine scratches that they get on them. And I've cleaned this out really good with thread cutter and rinsed it in water. I always do that when I first get them. Thank you for watching this video, and if you did like it, please click on subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like it, click on like also. And if you haven't watched some of my other videos, you can check them out on Carolyn's Painted Pieces. And I try to talk about a certain effect or treatment that I do on a piece just to change it. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I try to keep them short and sweet. Thanks.